Okay. We are going to move on to a data type instead of continuing on the character sheet, and we're going to do that because we need this data type for the next step. So we're going to set up some moves. Moves are what you do when you're acting or rolling in Dungeon World, and the moves roll. There's a whole lot of basic moves that everyone has. There's some advanced moves that everyone has that only apply in certain situations, and then you have a whole bunch of class moves. So I think I've distilled this down to the main parts I need. So I need a move object, move data type, and it's going to have the following fields. It's going to have a link, a name, a close icon, a button, record locked. It's going to have content, and it's going to have a scroll. And inside the sub window, we're going to have some content, which includes the class, so the PC class if applicable, the type, description, the attribute, the results for these. So I think that we will make these strings. We'll make the description formatted text. The attribute, I think, is going to be a cycler, a string cycler. The type is going to be a string cycler, and the class will be a string because we've got a bunch of basic classes included, but there are heaps of additional classes or custom classes, so we want that to be open. Over here, the link is going to be like an icon or a button. The name is going to be a string. The close is a button. Record locked is a button. Content is a sub window. And scroll is, well, it's a scroll bar. Okay, so we've got that basic stuff down. I'm going to see how we go jumping in and making it. So we're going to, I guess, come back here to our campaign, and we're going to create a new window. I think they start by default too narrow. I'm going to make it 350, just a bit wider. Oops, it's actually going to be much taller than that. And we're going to make it 350 wide. The name is going to be moves, and I think that we will set the frame to utility box. That's awesome. Okay, so let's start adding in these other items. First one is a link field. Drop that in. We'll set the X and Y to, we'll try 10. Might be too big, but we'll see where that goes. That is, no, that's probably pretty close. And it's going to be, we need it to have a name, link, description will be the name. We'll use the name for that. No drag is false. Record name, self and empty, true. So if it's a new record, it'll just open itself. And the window class name is moves, so it'll open up a type of moves. Okay, we'll leave that one. Now we'll add a string field. We will set this to be 200. The X position will be 10 plus 20 plus 10, so 40. The Y position 10. That'll give us pretty much in the right spot. And we want it underlined, yes. We want this text centered, no. What we might want to do is make this a little bit longer to 30, and we're going to anchor it, instead of just anchoring it left, we're going to anchor it to both, and that means if you do widen this, the name field will widen with it. We don't need a frame. We do need to name this field. This is going to be called name. And the next one we need is the button record lock. We're going to add in a custom control. Size will be 20. The Y position will be 10. The X position is going to be 10, 20, 10, 30, 35, 35, 55, I think. It's either going to be 55 or 35. We're going to anchor it to the right. And we're going to give it a name, button record locked. And we are going to custom class name, button record locked. Okay, X position, can we do minus 55? No, that's not quite right. Okay, so let's go 295, 275, 280. Okay, and it's going to know its position here on the right, and it's going to hopefully keep that anchored to the right going forward. But this custom class name means that it's going to use a template from Core RPG called button record locked, and it's going to inherit all the smarts and stuff from that. The next one we're going to add is a button close. It's going to be type button. Drop it in here. Size again 20 by 20. Again, we're going to anchor it right, but we need to work out our positioning. So we want it to be 30 from the right. It's 350 right, so let's try 320. 320 is pretty close, which means that we probably can move this other one over a little bit. Now, for this one, we're going to again use a template. Advanced template. The template is called close record sheet, and we're going to give this a name of close. We're going to get rid of these default frames. Just delete that. No font needed. It's just going to have an icon here. So we've got pressed icon. There's button close down, and button close for the top part. And I think that is probably going to be close to what we need there. Let's lock it. Let's lock both of them. And let's move this one over a little bit further. Okay, give it a little gap. Alright, which means that we can also make this one a bit wider. Okay, so they look pretty close. Now we need a sub window. Drag this on here. Now the sub window, let's get the height down, something like this. It's just roughly, so our height is going to be 430. Our width is going to be 30 less than our page, so 320, but it's going to be positioned 10 and 45 looks good. That should leave us enough room to have a scroll bar on the right, and that's pretty good. I think we can see there's a problem here possibly with our utility window. We'll check that out in a minute, but we're going to call this sub window content. Now it hasn't got any, we want to make this active, yes. We haven't got a class name for it just at the moment. We have to create that first, and we want it to be fast in it, yes. So I think we also want can grow, and we also want the horizontal anchors to be both, and we want the vertical anchors to be both. Alright, let's lock that up, and let's quickly check the utility box frame. I wonder if it needs some adjusting. 444, it should be okay. 400 is from the top. Let's make that from the top 300. See if that fixes it. We don't need all of that. We can even make this just a tiny bit smaller. That should be clean. So let's see what we've got here. Actually, we probably can't preview it because we need a class to put in our sub window first. let's just create the blank class, and we're going to call it moves content. So a new window, moves content, and the height, we'll pick the height and the width from the sub window. So we've got 320 and 430. Okay, that's pretty good. And we don't need any other content on it for the moment. Let's push that and see if we can open that in Fantasy Ground. Of course, you know we're not going to be able to, because we have not added it to the menus over here on the right. I wonder if we can try this. Open window, moves. Okay, cool. We have a move. We didn't get any errors. Our button record locked. We're obviously missing. We probably have to set an icon or something like that on there. So I'm going to quickly check that one. I'm not really seeing what's missing, so maybe it's just because there's no content in here yet. We'll see what happens when we finish off this. So we're going to wrap this video up for now, and in the next video we will add the campaign tool sidebar and we'll define the content. Thanks very much, guys.